So I've been teaching English for nearly 20 years, and I've been learning languages for even longer. So today I'm going to share with you 5 big truths that everyone learning English should know. I did have 20 truths, but I thought not many people would watch a video with 20 things. So here they are. So the first truth I want to share with you is that you can't buy English. You can buy courses and teachers and apps, but you can't buy real engagement with the language. What do I mean? I mean you can't outsource the skills, the 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, speaking. You have to do that, okay? And I think a lot of people don't think about this or realize this. I've taught so many students in my life, maybe 1,000 or more than 1,000. And I've had parents come up to me and give me wads of cash, right? Lots of cash at me saying, teach my child English, like they can just buy it, right? You can't buy it. That student needs to put in the work. They have to engage with the language. They need the right skills, the right habits. So I want to say to you, sure, you can buy an app or a course or anything like that, but just know that it depends on you at the end of the day. My recommendation is, sure, choose one resource and go deep with that resource. Don't choose 10 different resources. And you don't even need to buy anything. Just choose a YouTube video, like one of my podcast episodes. And you can spend a week on that episode. So you will learn the vocabulary, the phrases, practice shadowing, maybe answer some questions of your own. Join a discussion group and talk about the things from the video. There are so many things you can do with just one free resource. All right, guys, it's starting to rain, so I hope we can finish this video. We've actually tried to do this video 3 days in a row, and every single day it was just a downpour. That means heavy rain. So my next truth for you is that passive English creates passive results. And because so many students spend hours and hours around English, just watching videos, but never speaking or repeating or engaging with the content. So passive activities are still important, right? They can still help you with sounds and rhythm and vocabulary, but I would say real results come from active English, active activities. So speaking out loud, writing, journaling, doing dictation, where you listen and you write down what you hear, pausing and repeating, shadowing. I have I have a controversial opinion about shadowing. I think I will make another video about that. If you want that, let me know in the comments and put shadowing, because I have a really good video for that. Other things you can do is just having real conversations, making lots of mistakes and correcting them, because your brain learns much faster when you actually participate.
We ran the cold river, bare feet, blue knees, pine pitch on our fingers.
So the third truth is always be very careful walking into a field when there is a bull.
We laughed in the dark like we knew.
Sorry, I was just joking. Well, I'm not joking. You do need to be careful. But the real tip 3 is motivation fades, habits remain. You see, many people think that successful learners are more motivated, more inspired, or more passionate. And that might be true. But if your English depends only on motivation, you will constantly stop and restart. And I know this all too well, okay, in my own language learning journey too. And what I've noticed is the most successful students I've met, and just language learners, all have one thing in common. And it is consistency. And that comes from discipline, habits, routines, and systems. So, for example, maybe you listen to English every morning while you're making coffee. Maybe you check your vocabulary, you review vocabulary for 10 minutes as soon as you get home. Or you practice speaking regularly every week, regularly being the operative word. And this leads perfectly to my next point. My next truth is very simple, and it is you improve at speaking by speaking. It's that simple. I've met so many students who just don't practice speaking, they don't speak with others, they don't do self-talk, they don't meet native speakers. So in any way you can, practice speaking. So if your question is, should I practice with AI or a teacher? Yes. Yes to both, okay? AI, yes. Teacher, yes. Or should I join a speaking group or do one-on-one classes? Yes. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you're practicing speaking. Practicing with AI is really useful and it's quite cheap. You don't need to buy any apps, really. I use ChatGPT. You can use whatever you want. But make sure you also practice with real people. Because if you don't, you will freeze when you meet native speakers or when you go out in groups. You need to make yourself feel a little bit uncomfortable. Okay? So, practice speaking. Now, how do we get out of here? I think it's this way. My next truth is probably the hardest one to hear, and it is fear is holding most learners back. That means fear is stopping you from reaching your goal. Not intelligence, not talent, not even grammar. Fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being laughed at, fear of making mistakes, fear of sounding stupid, fear of having a strong accent, fear of not sounding perfect. There's a long list, right? I'm sure you can relate to one of these fears. And I really believe that this is one of the main things stopping you from becoming a fluent speaker. I have taught hundreds and hundreds of students, and some of them, they know the grammar, they know the vocabulary, but when it's time to speak, they just freeze. They freeze in front of native speakers. And this is the biggest problem I have seen in the past 20 years, probably. Now, I have done a playlist on these problems, and I give you some really useful tips and activities to help you overcome these issues. So I'll put a link somewhere here in the video, and please, if this is a problem for you, watch that playlist, and I'm sure it will help. Right, well, these were my 5 truths from being a teacher and a language learner for so many years. I feel so old, but I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know which truth you relate to the most. Anyway, that's it from me, but I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
We laughed in the dark like we knew how to hurt. take us back past the fence and stone. Wind in the branches carved our names in the